Hello, everyone. What's up, peoples? What's up, peoples? It is your boy, MM2K, back again with another episode of SSC Podcast, and I'm here with the co-host, our good friend, Peter Cottontail. Peter, how are you doing today, my good friend?
Man, I'm good. I'm kind of quiet today. The work got me beat. I showed up late and then I work late and I'm just chilling at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just kicking it and chilling.
Hey, I got you, brother. I went and was doing some housework today after I got done with my work, and I was feeling a little pooped today. But you know what energized me? Seeing the new damn Splinter Cell could be coming out.
Bro, I saw that and I was like, finally. I was like, as much as people have been begging for it, bro.
Yep.
I saw that. I was like, finally.
That's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait. Can't wait to get into that. Of course, we got that on the docket. We had to throw in the last minute the mobile direct streaming as well. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. But first and foremost, I am MM2K. This is Peter Cottontail. This is Stadia Dosage's SSC podcast episode 82. We were on hiatus last week. We wanted to get another one in before the end of the year. We might be back next week. Well, I doubt it. Next week
I doubt it.
Yep. Next week is Christmas or something like that. I should know, but all my kids is grown, pretty much out of the house. So I don't be worried about stuff like that anymore. But with that being said, we wanted to get another show in for you guys today. All right. So today we got on the docket, we're going to be talking about Direct Stream Mobile, the new Splinter sale, the whole games front. We got a slew of games that have come, and I want to wrap to Pete and get his thoughts on those games. Also, we got an update on Threada. It might give people a little bit of indigestion or heartburn, but we'll see. We'll talk about that. And then lastly, we got some more great stats. Before I get into what we were playing, I just wanted to say something to the community. I've been very vocal to the community as of late because I'm starting to see some disappointing trends. And when I say disappointing, I don't mean that in a chastising way. I just think things are going left inadvertently. And hopefully we can pause ourselves to think, and then Pete can follow up on the back end and give his thoughts on this too. But we're closing out the end of the year. Contrary to belief, there's a lot of great Stadia news that we could be talking about. I know a lot of content creators are trying to divert from some of this drama and talk about it, but we see a lot of things going on, a lot of shift to focus on some negative things. And I just wanted to give some food for thought that I'm hoping would be helpful to the community. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Shaka, Grace, Chris, people at the communications team at Stadia. As someone who's worked in communications, customer service for 25 plus years, has had to deal with some of the things that they deal with their not automated messaging, but the messaging that comes from their corporate accounts and stuff like that, things of that nature that I've been familiar with for decades. It's not always easy trying to put forth corporate communication. It's not as simple as people may think it is. And sometimes things get put in disarray. What I caution some of my well-intended Stadia community members is that, I know our emotions sometimes boil up and we get frustrated with some things, like for instance the 12 days of Stadia. Like me and Pete were talking before we went live, and we're like, we were kind of confused by that,
bro. Don't I'm like, we'll talk more about it, but like I'm just as confused. Like I love it, but like that was, there's no denying that was a miss.
That was off key. Yeah, that was a miss, and that was off key.
That was a miss. Yeah,
exactly. And there are times to where marks are missed, and there's a lot of cogs, a lot of a lot of approvals and things like that, things that happen one thing in disarray can send everything off track. We've seen it with Xbox. We've seen it with PlayStation. We've seen it with Xbox where Aaron Greenberg, I remember in like a 2-week span, he was like reversing tweets every other day. First he said that all games would be 4K 60 standard. And then that was because it was miscommunication from the tech team. So he had to go back and clean that up. Tom Warren, of all people, had to correct that. There were things about no gamer left behind, just a series of things within a 2-week span that were well greater than this. And it happens. But what I caution is that we kind of check our words before we hit send. Like we would never say, even despite though Aaron Greenberg went through that spell, we would never consider Aaron Greenberg disconnected, right? I mean,
right.
Like Pete used a perfect phrase. Pete, you said, missed the mark. You know what I'm saying? Fell flat. But when we do stuff like that, we wipe away all the good, all the praise that we've been giving these people all year for the great job that they've been doing. And the signal that we're sending is that if you're not perfect all the time, I can turn on you on a drop of a hat. And I know that's not what we mean, but perception is 9/10 of the law. So I just caution everybody next time, I get to where, I mean, the Game Awards thing, that's a whole different animal. I don't want to get into that here. We'll talk about that in the after show. But um, the Game Awards thing was different. But I get the confusion and maybe some of the irritation with the 12 days of Stadia thing. Just keep in mind that mistakes will happen. These people have done a fantastic job, and they're people at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? There's a way that we can communicate to them, hey, that fell flat, that didn't work, and I'm kind of not pleased. There's a way to do that without wiping away their whole body of work and using certain terms and certain words. So those are my thoughts on it. Pete, what do you think about all this hoopla starting off, happening so far in the week?
Man, I'm seriously over it. Like, it's like people, I get it. Their whole reasoning is because Stadia is new to the scene, they have to make this big splash because that's what you're used to. And
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it my entire life where when a new system or something comes out, there's these huge presentations, there's this huge splash, and that's what attracts attention. But everyone's being unnecessarily rude about it. Like, they're getting upset that Stadia is not making a big splash, or that when they mess up, yeah, like you just said, it erases all of the good that they've done, all of the improvements, like, instantly. It's like people
Mm-hmm.
can't make up their mind. Like you said, they have to be perfect. No, they don't. Really, they don't have to do anything. They could have no social media presence whatsoever and keep doing what they're doing, but they do it, and there's actually people still updating you, and people, it's, like, irritating me that people are being unnecessarily rude about it.
Yeah. And again, I get it for and what we don't want is a war of thoughts behind this. I just caution that I get it. There's some frustration, and I also understand as well. I talked about it earlier in the week about me sympathizing with some of the people or some of the notions. I don't want to say the people because it's not about the people, it's about the notions, but some of the notions that where people want Stadia to be XYZ, even though Stadia may not be ready to do that. I get it because it's such a great platform in so many ways that you just want everything right now. And with the whole Game Awards thing, I know I said I wasn't going to touch that. Hold on one second, Pete. I'm sorry. Did you say something, sweetheart? All right. Um, but with the Game Awards thing, I went over it a billion times on why it just made sense that they were not there. Um, Now people may have been upset communicatively because Stadia mentioned or through the blog mentioned something and said, "Hey, what are your guesses for the awards?" I kind of understand that, but if we look at the entire trajectory and everything from 5,000 feet, like I said, even in a video before the Game Awards even happened, there really should have been no expectancy that they had anything near, even with that tweet. But
Bro, I was telling people, like, 2 or 3 weeks out, I was like, "Stop expecting anything, they're
mhm,
not gonna be there." And then, of course, you have the whole other side just saying, "Oh, they're gonna show something," and then they put out the
mhm,
tweet, and people read way too much into that. I was like, "Y'all know they said that they're not gonna be anything big.
yeah.
They're not gonna talk about it." I was like, and I keep having to reiterate this. I was like, "So stop expecting things to happen because it's not. They're just gonna work in the background and let it know that it's working." I'm still noticing improvements, but people
And
gonna be people.
and the best way, Pete, for people to look at this is like, look, we told you in March. Like, I get it. You may listen to people because you love the conversation, you love the barbershop talk, and it gets you all emotional and worked up. And I get that. But like, we have a very good track record here on critical things. Just in 2021 alone, we told y'all that Alphabet was doubling down on the platform. It was getting a higher priority, meaning that they were dumping more into helping the resources get better between Stadia and the developers. And we also told you then, before Stadia said themselves, that if you don't see Stadia for a while, don't be upset. They're tucking their head down and they're doing the hard work. Those pretty much were our exact words. Stadia followed that up. I mean, they didn't work with us in tandem. We just got a good source. Stadia follows that up, goes to GameIndustry.biz, Pete, and tell people we're fine, but right now we're putting our head down and we're doing the hard work. And despite all the information that's out there, because 2021 is a wide tale of information being right there in front of your face and people just rejecting it and saying, no, I'd rather believe the lie. You know what I mean? Because the lie is more tantalizing than the truth. So when they put their head down and they're doing the work to get the games that you want, because it's not an overnight process, people are upset. And I think a lot of times you may have set yourself up for that anger, but I get it nonetheless. You're well intended. But we just got to be careful, I think. And again, letting our emotions get the best of us and letting that wipe away everything just because we had a bad moment. Like months from now, we're going to look back at this and laugh at it. Under no way, shape, or form should we let a communication at the Game Awards and a communication over potential sales lead us to call the entire team this, that, or the other. Those are my thoughts. You have any closing thoughts before we move on, Pete?
No, dude, you pretty much nailed it 100%. Like, it's just unnecessary. I was like, how would you feel if I start insulting your shows because, or your whatever your hobbies are, or your job, saying everybody's doing a bad job because of what might have just been miscommunication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like, that's not okay. I was like, they're the ones having to listen to all of the crap that's happening on social media. And I was like, just because they're not responding does not mean that they aren't watching or
Yeah,
paying
exactly.
attention
Oh,
or
they're
anything
watching.
like that. I was like, and I'm pretty sure that's why Chaka had to put out that tweet, because you have people saying crap behind the scene. And I'm like, y'all seriously don't know what's happening. I was like, and if you, I use this all the time. I was like, if you don't work there, then stop, because you don't know. It's that simple. If you do not work there, you do not know what is going on, you honestly have no right to say someone is out of touch or something like that. If anyone's out of touch, it's the people making those comments are out of touch on how to actually treat somebody. So, yep,
Yeah.
that's pretty much my closing comments.
Nope. Good stuff. Let's shout out this chat, man. This chat is fantastic. Next, we go hard in
Oh,
the
yeah.
house. He says, Stadia. We got Windstar in the house. Good to see you, my good friend, as always. Dustin Oran, the postmaster, he says, yo. We got KBJ in the house, says, yo. Who else we got here? We got Slush Pup. He says, what's up? What's up with you, Slush Pup? What's going on? Bippity Bop, yo. And the homie, Ron Slusher, is in the house. Bippity, I'm gonna wait till your comment. Okay, your comment just popped up because I think it's a great one. People thinking cloud gaming is gonna blow up overnight. They just need to remember it's a slow burn. Yeah, we talk about that all the time. This is similar to DRM. I've talked about this ad nauseum all last week. When Xbox introduced it with the Xbox One, remember we hated it, and now we love it. If you're a cloud gamer, you love DRM because it's DRM, it's digital rights management, all the way. So, it's just some things are just going to take time because they're not normal at the moment. They take some time to get used to. The homie Ron Slusher says, "What is this 12 days of Stadia poop?" Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's confused us, and then it looks like because we haven't heard day 2, so they may have canceled it. They may have canceled it.
I doubt it.
Well, we haven't heard anything about day 2.
I mean, you have to remember though, is they do have other jobs besides this. So I mean, you don't know.
Yeah, it could be coming back. They could be refining it. Who knows? We'll see. Artemis Tower says, got me some old Milwaukee listening to this. An old SSC pun. Hey, I can dig it. I can
Hey,
dig
you
it.
gonna share?
Yeah, you gonna send some old Milwaukee back to us? We ain't had it in a while. Thank you. Hey guys, we did. Well, I made a boo boo, and Pete was laughing at me. He said, "What else is new?" I sent out the wrong tweet. I sent out the wrong link. Rather, I sent out the link to to the the after hour show, which is going to be a hell of a show anyway. But if you guys could just tweet this out, let people know that we're live. We appreciate it. I'm going to tweet it out again. Let me see. Let's just do this. We're going to say the right tweet. The right link. So Pete, while I'm doing that, can you let us know what you've been playing since last week?
Man, I've been playing everything. So for the people who think I only play Stadia, I'm telling you, you're wrong. So I have Game Pass. I've been playing Halo Infinity.
Ooh.
I actually just installed Aliens Fireteam Elite, so that's been pretty fun.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I'm scrolling Xbox right now as we talk. So I've been playing that. I've of course been on Stadia ever since the 30th anniversary for Destiny 2. That's been sucking me back in, man. I can't stand it. Um I've been sucked back into Destiny 2. I've been giving quite a few games a try, dude. I've been playing Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. After that, I'll be playing Liberation because people probably didn't realize that for that price, which was like I think like $13, you
12 bucks
get
or something
two
like that.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get two games. I have yet to try Super Animal Royale. I tried 9 to 5. That's pretty cool. I
Okay.
haven't really like gotten into it yet. Um, and then honestly, bro, I've been playing Need for Speed Heat like crazy. I just beat the campaign. Like for a game that's from 2018, I post screenshots all the time. That game is pretty like Forza's got nothing on it, and it's from 2018. So I've been playing all kinds of stuff.
I gotta get. I want to get into that game because me and you were talking about that yesterday. No, not yesterday. The hell am I talking about? We were talking about that last week. And it was available via Xbox Game or via
It's
the
if you
EA.
EA Play because if you have Game Pass, you have EA Play because of their deal. Yeah.
And as much as I love Stadia, I gotta admit, some of these Game Pass games are looking good. You know what I mean? So that's why it's good. That's the great thing about cloud gaming and having multiple platforms or access to multiple platforms now, especially while the platforms are still young. You know what I mean? You're not going to get. I don't think you're going to get the total package yet. If you're one of those gamers that feel like you got to get your hands on everything, there are a lot of people that are satisfied with Stadia, and there's nothing wrong with it and Stadia alone. And most of my time, overwhelmingly, like even if I didn't have anything else, I'd still, for the most part, be happy because the overwhelming majority of my time is on Stadia. But there's great gaming everywhere, and with cloud gaming's low cost to entry for most services, low barrier to entry, you can enjoy it and have other platforms as well. Stadia doesn't have to be your only. It doesn't even have to be your main. It's just the more that we use it and the more that we get into it, the more we help the platform grow, and the more it's just going to be for gaming altogether. So again, this is not. You liking Stadia doesn't mean that you take all of your units and your consoles and your PC and you throw them out the window. It just means that you can appreciate the platform for what it is, what it's trying to accomplish, and we can talk about it and talk about the growth of it. On that note, what have I been playing? I've also played some Halo Infinite as well, and I had some fun playing it. It was Halo. What I expected from Halo, had a good time. That damn prologue, we talked about that last week, Pete. That damn prologue
Bro,
that's like
that
57
Halo,
years. Something
I
like that.
know. I'm just like, yo, it's like, what is going on? Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, just landing on the ring was like the coolest sequence ever, and I
Yeah.
grapple hook everywhere.
Yep. Yep.
Everywhere. Man, if I gotta scale a cliff, guess what? Grapple hook, just all the way up.
Yep. Definitely was it was some cool stuff. Hey, mods, normally I wouldn't ask y'all to do this, but when y'all see these bots, like this Sylvia Hodges that just popped up in here and I got rid of. If y'all can do us a huge favor, because what I don't want anybody to do is to inadvertently click on their links and get some type of malware. Just destroy them. Just zap them.
I just saw that. I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, they've been hitting me up the last few days, man. Like Mama, I made it. But yeah, man, that's cool. It's a cool experience. I'm enjoying it. I did Pete my super enhanced version of Halo, where I talked about I put some secret sauce on that. It's still rendering, dude, from Friday. So
Are you serious?
yes, it's still rendering from Friday.
What are you doing, man? What are you rendering that 8K? Jesus.
I can't tell you. I might have to. If I tell you, I gotta kill you. No, yeah, but I'm hoping it's gonna be available tomorrow. Me and you got a rap too, off air. I'm teasing people. That thing I've been teasing people about that I got to experience. It's happening again tomorrow. I'm
genuinely curious what that is.
I can't tell y'all what it, but it's happening again tomorrow. Yeah, baby.
Must be nice, bro. I still ain't got no invite for anything.
Oh my God. Ooh, Jesus. I'm telling you, I'm stoked. I'm hoping. This is what I normally do, y'all. I take my wife to work, but she's been taking herself to work since we moved. So I've been having to make sure I get myself up early because I've been too spoiled. Because I want to get up at 4, like I'm having to take her to work. Finish my work because all my work is self-guided by myself. And I can knock my work out. I'm lucky. I can knock my work out 3, maybe 4 hours max. And then by 8 o'clock, the rest of the day is mine, unless I'm on call for something. So I'm hoping I can knock everything out so I can hop and experience this thing early in the day. So I might go radio silent tomorrow. Just so everybody's aware. Ray the Cyborg. Hey, Ray, can you do me a huge favor, bro? The link that is here, I sent everybody the wrong link. Can you tweet it out for me, brother? Ray the Human Cyborg is in the house. Sneaky Ray.
Ray be lurking, bro, all the time.
Yeah, Ray be lurking, man. Yep. So, Arteris said, I want the Saints Row reboot I do too, to come to Stadia. It should. Man, and it's good signs. I don't know. What do you think about this, Pete? It's not on our document. We could talk about it for a little bit. It's good signs that the company, I think THQ it is, already has 2 games on the platform. I could be prepping them for the reboot. What do you think?
Oh, THQ Nordic?
Yeah. Yep.
Bro, I hope so. That would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have I'm more interested in these, which I also want to talk about, these tweets that or these hints that Stoked for Good on Twitter has been putting out with
Now you talking about the one with the Ubisoft or something?
Yeah, with the unannounced title and some
let's
other
talk
things
about that
that
real
are
quick.
happening.
Let's talk about. Because that goes hand in hand with what we're about to jump on anyway. But what are your thoughts on that? Or if you can bring everybody up to speed of what's going on with that stuff.
Oh, I'm actually pulling it up right now, or see if I can find it.
Okay. While you're pulling it up, hold on one sec. Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So, hold on. Give me just a second. I'm trying to find it. But basically, there was a series of tweets, because Stoke for Good has been going out on through all the job listings.
Doing it too. Yeah. Killing it.
Going through job listings and stuff like that, and finding out people talking about Stadia is not going to get any more games, but these job listings are clearly proving the exact opposite. Yeah. For example, there was one, so about the Ubisoft unannounced title. Dude, I just saw it, and I don't know where. Oh, so here it is. So Ubisoft posted a Linux developer for an unannounced project.
Yep.
It says looking for an ambitious unannounced project in Sweden. You'll be working with tech like C++, Python, And then for other tech, they have Docker, Clang, Visual Studio, Conan, CMake, GitLab, Linux, the Debian repo of it, and access to Ubisoft's global inner source community as a senior programmer. And I'm just telling you now, I can't wait for like late 2022, early 2023, because
Yeah.
that's when things are going to kick off. Like people need to
Yeah.
realize that
Yep.
just because games are thought of and developed way in advance before anyone even hears
Mm.
about it. Um, and that's what I'm saying that I'm gonna tell you. Oh, holy
You
crap!
gotta
Excuse
excuse
me.
my brother. He's tired. He doesn't.
I
If
am.
y'all can find
I
him some old
apologize,
Milwaukee, get it for him.
bro. What you need to do is shoot some energy drinks into my arm. Um, but yeah, so people have to realize that it's gonna take some time for these games to come because these games are being planned out a couple of years in advance. So
Hmm.
even though things might not be coming right now, you have to realize they will come and sooner than you think.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, again, and even with the process, I mean, that's a great point that Pete brings up. Even with the process where, Stadia did the pivot and they said, okay, we instead of us focusing on an SG&E where we clearly can't compete at the moment because Microsoft is pulling out 7.5 billion out the leather coat jacket and buying studios. Let's redistribute that money and get these third party games first. Even though they say even though that is their pivot, I won't say they say that is their pivot. Um, that's not an overnight process. You got to convince publications and other places to develop for your platform, and it's not bringing in the volume that the other platforms are bringing in just yet. So you might have to do a little bit of convincing, a little bit of finagling in order to make that happen. And also, too, I'm gonna say this as well, which a lot of people don't talk about enough. I think that Jason Schreier article really put a damper on Stadia's ability to negotiate for a lot of these games because I can just imagine um, Capcom saying, "Hold on, you paid us 10 million for 2 games, but you paid Ubisoft 10 million a pop. We're Capcom. You see what I'm saying? Or I don't. We don't know what they paid 2K. They could have gave 2K 5 million. And 2K, they were hold on. We gave you 3 games for 5 million, and that probably totally eradicated Stadia's ability to market the way for games that they wanted to, behind the scenes and get deals, and that could have thrown a lot of things awry. So they definitely got a plan to continue to build and get more games here. They said so in their end of the year letter, where they talked about we're going to bring all new types of games and stuff like that. It's just like Jack Buser even foreshadowed in 2019 with his fabulous foresight. It's going to take time. You got to build and establish these relationships. And a great thing, I know I keep going on and on, but a great thing, Pete, I don't know if you've seen it, the Xbox documentary that's out there. That's your shit a light on this. This is not a process, like you said, that happens overnight.
Oh yeah, no, it takes years, dude, and like it's only so easy for Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo because they've been around for decades
Yes,
already.
absolutely.
It's easy for them. It's like if Stadia is going through the same process,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a child.
Yep.
It's gonna take a lot of work and a lot of time, and people are like, "It's 2021, they should be able to do this now." I don't think you understand how game development works, let alone the relationships between all of it.
Yep. Absolutely. So that is what we've been playing this week, and some of our thoughts on some of these new coming games. Some of them that we didn't have on the docket, but I want to do this. Let me show you something. Let's see if it's gonna mess up. Is it gonna mess up? No, it didn't mess up, Pete. It was right. It went to the right screen. But here's what I didn't do. I didn't share my
I'm
screen
so
with you.
proud of you. Yeah, man, you're always being a bad host. What's up with that? I'm over here
I'm a
staring at
horrible
the
host.
Discord and just nothing. Oh, there you go.
MM2K hashtag the horrible host. All right, so this is PNTSnetwork.com, a little small site, the mother site of Stadia Dosage, a site that
For now.
PNTS Network, that me and Pete we belong to, and we've gotten a flood of interested content creators that want to join the PNTS family, which is great and fantastic. I've been in communication with some, others have been in communication with some. Here's what I wanted to do here is I wanted to help people understand what we're doing as far as being a StadiaDosage partner or a PNTS contributor. If you're a PNTS contributor, no matter what type of gaming you do, and you like Stadia or not, let us know if you'd like to be part of the family. We'll sit and have a conversation and we'll figure out the best way for PNTS Network at like a community level to help you grow. You know what I'm saying? That's just to help with your content, regardless of what type of gaming content that you do. All right, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Stadia, whatever. If you're a StadiaDosage partner, what you'll be doing is, and an example of this is Jack. Jack Deslip did a video last week where he did a great video showcasing his stats. StadiaDosage partners, they get an opportunity to showcase some of their content, a snippet of their content on StadiaDosage to help bring our traffic to their traffic, and they get to participate in revenue sharing. It's up to them, whatever you want to, or if you just want to put your content out there, that's Stadia specific stuff. And it's for you. What it is an opportunity for you to help bring some spotlight back to your channel. Both of those things are different from being on the weekly DCD, which is this thing right here, where we at PNTS Network and StadiaDosage, we put together all of the great content, or not all of it, because we know there's a lot that we're missing, but we put together a lot of great content and resources that are out there in the Stadia community for people to see every week. So when you're communicating with us and you're inquiring which part you want to be which you want to be a part of, understand the difference between those three. PNTS Network is whatever you want to do gaming related. StadiaDosage is an opportunity for you to spotlight your content on Stadia to hopefully bring traffic back over to your channel. And then lastly, the weekly DCD is just a community listing to make sure that your content or your channel is referenced there. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. And we will continue to be reaching out to folks to help clarify and help figure out what the best slot is for them. All right. With that said, Pete, we did a lot of babbling. Now it's time to talk about these topics. First and foremost, oh man, let's do this. Let's put up this beautiful beam footage. Jeez Louise. Whoo. Hot Jiminy Crickets. Third echelon standby. Splinter Cell remake is underway at Ubisoft Toronto. Learn more about the project and how you can join the team. Pete, there is going to be a new Splinter Cell game. Now, when I say new, I don't mean brand new, because here are the facts that we do know. It's going to be a remake, but it's going to be a remake built from the ground up. And it's going to be built from the ground up using the Snowdrop engine. So before I ask you this question, I just want to make it abundantly clear. Ubisoft or whoever's making this or Ubisoft Toronto made no indication when to expect this game and what platforms to expect the game on. Though I think it's fair that because this is a remake that's being built from the ground up, this isn't like the Prince of Persia remake, but this is a remake being built from the ground up. I think it's fair to have hopes that it's coming to Stadia and also to exercise your desire to ensure that this is coming to Stadia. This is not one of those games that you want to slip by, all right? So with all that said, Pete, I turn it over to you. How big is this remake for the entire gaming community in your eyes?
Bro, this is huge. For the past, it's 6 months alone, Ubisoft's pumping out all of these games, and on every game, every comment is just constantly talking about, we want Splinter Cell. We want Splinter Cell to come. You guys are just sitting on the name because you own the rights to it, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
And now, people have to understand that Ubisoft has more than just one branch.
Yep.
Ubisoft has branches everywhere, and different teams have different capabilities. But Ubisoft Toronto, from my understanding, which is who are the ones that are handling this, are probably the most experienced, I
Mm-hmm.
want to say, out of all of their branches. Oh, excuse me. I'm trying not to yawn. But yeah, dude, it's good that I'm amazed that they're finally doing a remake, and they immediately put out a statement saying that it's going to be linear gameplay just like the old games.
Mm-hmm.
No open world or anything like that, which is nice. Now, I'm just hoping that they stay away from this NFT garbage. That they put in, because like, just side note, I was excited for Stalker 2, and then I
Yeah.
found out they're doing that NFT crap. I was like, "No, don't buy." So, yeah,
Well,
it looks.
Pete, can I just? I don't want to go off kilter too much, but now
No,
that
you're
I
good.
have you here, because I need you to explain. I need you. You know, I'm the old grandpa in the corner. You're like, oh, grandpa. Here's what NFTs are. Can you explain to me? I mean, I kind of got an idea, but what the hell
I
are NFTs, and how do they pose a danger to these games?
It's just basically non NFTs, non-fungible token, and I'd be okay with NFTs if they just stayed in their own, like, blockchain games in their own
Mm-hmm.
little world, but at this point, when it's coming into mainstream games like Ubisoft is doing with Quartz, which I love my video games, but Ubisoft needs to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they need to just erase that from existence.
Yeah.
Um, these you're essentially just gonna have people paying to basically, for example, Stalker 2, you're paying whoever gets the NFT is then gonna go to the studio to basically have everything there to get them as an NPC in the game, and I'm like, that's a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time just to have yourself as an NPC in the game, and very likely I was like, "You don't know what the relevancy of that NPC is. It might just be a side NPC in an obscure area where the
Mm-hmm.
NPC might die, or you could kill the NPC in your playthrough, and then what? You basically just killed yourself. You paid a whole bunch of money in an auction to win the NFT, and what now?"
Yeah. Yep. No, I completely get it. Just for those that may see it and they may be confused. Um, Now there is supposed to be a couple of NFTs that I would be available for, or that would, because all the time that I put in the Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Later today, I might check them out. There's a new series that I'm doing where I'm doing let's plays across multiple platforms because of the Ubisoft cross progression thing, which is awesome. So in my time doing that, I'll check it out. But yeah, that's interesting, man. It's an interesting dynamic, and I mean, it's going to be one of those things where you're going to see a lot of gamers outraged. Now, what I did hear, which might delight you, Pete, is that I heard that there aren't going to be NFTs in Stalker like throughout the game. Like, there's going to be one. I'm going to send you the tweet. It's by a guy named Wandering Dutch. He's a big Xbox guy, and he did some research, and according to the research that he did, it appears to him that there's not going to be NFTs in Stalker 2, so you might be safe there. But yeah, great stuff, great stuff. Now let me also ask you. We don't know if this is coming to the Stadia community, but if it does, how important for Stadia would it be to have a game like this, and not only to have it, but to have it day one?
It would be huge because I just have an addiction with with just the instant playing. Like, I can't. I hate downloading and
Yeah,
installing things. I can't stand it.
can't do it.
Um,
Yep,
like,
yep.
I'm sitting here installing because, like I said, I was looking through Game Pass because it is honestly a really good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 um is on there, so I'm sitting here looking at gameplay, and it would be nice to not have to download or install any of this. Like, I hate watching it
Mm-hmm.
install and download. I can't stand that. And it's nice because back to just mentioning the Game Awards, Geoff Keighley said that Stadia is really not good at
Yeah.
click and play,
Click and play. Yeah.
and
The check was in the
that's
mail.
that's all I do for Stadia. I click and I
Mm-hmm.
play.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me 2 clicks to launch a game.
Yep.
It does it flawlessly, so I'm just blown away, I guess, that I'm this spoiled. Like, even Destiny 2's 30th anniversary update or, Valhalla, people were like, they said, "Okay, you basically have to reinstall the entire game again to
Yeah, I
prepare for
know.
updates and content."
Crazy.
Didn't have to do that for Stadia. Everyone talking about, "Oh, I don't wanna do this, I don't wanna do that," and I'm just sitting there in the comments like, I'm on Stadia. I was like, "I'm just waiting for the game to come back online." I was like, "There's no updates or installs because it's all instant," and that has absolutely spoiled me. So for a game, when you combine the popularity of Splinter Cell, which is a well-known IP, and everything else, to have it day one, even though I don't think so, but then again, it is Ubisoft, and Ubisoft does have one of the strongest relationships with Stadia. Uh, that would be pretty, pretty big to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That'd be huge. And then
Yep.
I would have no excuse. I could just, if I ever go to the bathroom and they ask me what's taking so long, I could just say that I was stealthily assassinating people as Sam Fisher on the toilet because I can.
Exactly. Hey, look, man. That would be huge to help add to the legitimacy. I mean, it helps add to the legitimacy and opens up the options for the platform because you might have a lot of people that were disenfranchised from gaming that that remember Splinter Cell. There's people that I know that I work with that when they were in college when Splinter Cell or high school or whatever, and then because of family responsibilities and them not being able to afford keeping up with gaming, they've had to step away from gaming to where now cloud gaming brought them back, and there's no other way, there's no better way to help cement the fact that they've been back to gaming than to give them a new revamped Splinter Cell on the Snowdrop engine of all things on Stadia. So yeah.
Snowdrop is pretty good of an
Woo!
engine too.
Yes, absolutely. It's a hell of an engine. A hell of an engine. Um, and it's a great, we already know, it's a great engine for Stadia. It's like the engine for Stadia. We already know that, what do you call it? What's that game? The first person shooter game. X Defiant. That's running on Snowdrop, I believe, right? Yeah, that's
Oh,
running on
is that
Snow.
running on Snowdrop?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Oh, I did not know that.
I think that's running on Snowdrop. I think that the new um, Ubisoft Heartlands game is going to be running on Snowdrop, I believe. I think that's what they put out there. I'm not quite sure what that's going to be running on. Avatar is going to be running on Snowdrop. So this is just the timing of Snowdrop becoming more of an integral part of Ubisoft's development is running right up to Stadia's alley. I get to where the remake of Prince of Persia may have not been on Stadia, and okay, but Splinter Cell, you gotta get it. You gotta get it.
You
All right,
you have to guess. There's no excuse to not get Splinter Cell.
absolutely, you gotta get it.
It's Splinter Cell, dude.
Yeah, Splinter Cell. Like, what the hell? Um, but the mere fact that this is a possibility, and it may just be elementary, and that we can be so comfortable in seeing this game in all likelihood. How does that cement the Stadia Ubisoft connection as an important one for this young platform? Like, or to rephrase it in English for you, Pete. Why is this relationship? How does this game coming out or this game being mentioned? How does that underline how important the relationship is between Ubisoft and Stadia?
that's an easy question to answer. That's a
Mm-hmm.
really, really easy question to answer. So basically, this just proves that is you've had certain people saying that developers are abandoning Stadia, blah blah blah, without any kind of evidence
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever.
Yep.
But clearly they're fortune tellers, or that they just somehow know more than I do, and I actually do my research. Um, which is wild to think about. Um, this just cements that Stadia, and as Jack Booster said, they're it's good that they're doing this because it just cements the relationships
Yep.
between Ubisoft, and that will also show that if they can hold this relationship and keep it going, all that's going to do is attract other publishers and developers and stuff like that and be like, holy crap, they must be doing something right
Mm-hmm.
to sit there and to still have their their relationship still going, despite what media might say, or really what Twitter says, because Twitter's like gossip world.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like it's nice to see that if it does happen, then that truly further cements the relationship between Stadia and Ubisoft, and that they have the groundwork laid out. Now all they have to do is keep building on it. Whether or not people see that, I don't know. They don't have to see it, but that's really all there is to it. Man, Ron talking about when is the King of Ports Awards. The King of Ports Awards, if you want to say the King of Ports Awards,
That's
I'm just going to tell you
uh-huh. You know,
No, actually Stadia wouldn't win. They need to work on that development porting.
well, no,
That
I think what he's talking about is what is the best port on Stadia. We would often reference that Division
Oh,
Two was the port, the best port, and Madden was the best. Like, what do you
nah,
think is the
Kakarot's the greatest port now, hands
Kakarot?
down.
Hey,
Don't
look,
care.
we're gonna have to create a list. Hey, look, y'all, SSCianites. I couldn't come up with a better name. SSCianites, or we'll call you the SS. I was watching the Ultimate Warrior biography on A&E, which is fantastic, by the way, for all you old heads. Um, and those SSC Warriors. We might have to comprise a list of the best ports on Stadia and vote on them. You know what I mean? Kind of like a throw off vote to add to the community awards or our own little SSC thing. We'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll see what we can do. But that's what Rod is referring to. And by all intents and purposes, even though every now and again we try to throw in a new one, Division 2 is the king of ports. It's a lot of people are saying that overwhelmingly is the best looking and performing game on Stadia. So, Windstar says Outriders 2.0. I don't know, Windstar. We'll see. I mean, direct stream. I don't know. Have you done direct stream with with Outriders yet, Pete?
Um, direct. Are you talking about just like live streaming with it?
Yeah, like the just direct to
Oh,
YouTube
you
streaming.
like Stadia? No, I honestly have not used it lately, but that's because
Yeah,
I I just don't stream very often
stream.
right now.
Okay, gotcha.
But I still think that's an amazing feature because I
Yep.
don't really have like a whole proper setup to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can do that. Oh, speaking of direct streaming,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
can we
We might as
talk
well
about
jump
that?
into it right now because it's our first topic. Let's jump into it
Yeah.
right now. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So, bro, so earlier, Main Deer Games on Twitter had posted a screenshot of
Mm-hmm.
saying that he was able to live stream from his phone, and he
Yeah.
didn't know if it was just a glitch or a bug or something else that happened. But then he went onto his iPad Pro and it still worked. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just launch up a game on my phone, which is why I love Stadia, because it's so easy to do that. I was like, let me just launch a game on my phone and see if I can do that. Because Apple sucks, you have to make it a PWA, but it it worked. I mean, I tried it myself on my iPhone 13. I even posted a screenshot. You can looks like you can live stream from your phone. Now, whether that was intentional or not, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, but it's nice to see that it is an option,
Yeah.
and that they do have it integrated, in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm super excited about that. Like, I'm, like, ridiculously excited because I know at one point, um, it was on there, but then it got removed. But I know that they, I wonder if they had just removed it temporarily just because it probably wasn't ready. But I wouldn't be surprised if during their next blog post, that's part of it that like, oh hey, you could direct stream from mobile now, which is huge, by the way. So I'm super super excited about that. It's just such a handy feature and I love it and the fact that it captures your voice and everything too. Now, if they found a way to capture like your face with the webcam, I'm
Mm-hmm.
never touching OBS or Twitch or like anything ever again because all I'll need is Stadia and it does it so flawlessly. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in particular, when you're talking about what do you call it, the direct stream, dude. Like, I mean, it makes it. I want to say I have a base $1,300 PC where I bought a. At the time, I was lucky and I got it for 575, a
Must be
575
nice.
3070, and I plopped that in there. So and then I made an upgrade to, I think it's an i9 processor. Um,
Intel sucks. I'm just gonna say that.
oh, you
Intel
don't like
is
Intel
no,
processors?
Intel is garbage. Because if Intel something breaks, the
Mm-hmm.
only thing that works with Intel is Intel motherboards. So it's like Intel is garbage. At least with my motherboard, I run like almost exclusively all AMD. At least with my motherboard, anything that has an AM4 socket,
Mm-hmm.
um, for CPUs
Okay.
will work.
Okay.
I just honestly I just hate Intel. Maybe I'm just biased. Intel is garbage to me.
See, I don't have much experience with AMD except for this. And this is years ago. This is like 2003 when I told you guys about me running and the little racket that I was running where I was selling used games. I used to do this at GameStop where we had a distributor, not a distributor, but a store, the exchange, that for some reason, I mean, you could just put like a Milky Way smudge on a game and it would be like Amazing Spider-Man 2, which at the time, a day after launch, they would mark it down to $5. But if you traded it in at GameStop, it would be worth like $65 or something like that. So we had a store that egregiously on their behalf marked down a lot of stuff, and I would go there on a weekly basis, just clean house and get so much credit. So we got all this money. We got multiple consoles, everything. And my brother we. This is when one of the stores we got credit with them, and I got him a new video card and all types of stuff, and everything was AMD. He's felt the same way. 3 months later, it burst into flames right in front of us. So
No.
I was like, no more AMD. I mean, that was just my experience with him. I mean, that was his thing.
They've made leaps and bounds
Yeah,
since
yeah,
then. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. It's nothing like, but AMD was known for running hot way back in the day, man. They were known for that stuff. So
Oh yeah,
and I'm
AMD was bad back in the day, which
yeah.
is why everybody went with NVIDIA, but I'm just like, nah. So AMD is basically NVIDIA, but at a cheaper price point now, and I am loving it.
While we're in there, I know we're all over the place, but the chat is just on fire, man. Golly, y'all making all
Yeah,
damn podcasts.
right. I'm like over here looking at Chow. I was like, dang. I was like, I didn't realize the whole thing was going off like this.
Uh, Babacalypse says Peppa
Peppa
Pig
Pig.
is the winner of the port. Hey, we might add that to the
Hey,
list.
Peppa Pig
Let's do
reigns
it.
supreme. Okay, Peppa Pig runs at 4K 60 and everything.
What else we got going on here? I saw something from Ron again. He says Destiny 2 is the best. I would, you know what? Destiny 2 plays great. Is fantastic on Stadia. I just got to give a notch up to to Division, because it's native 4K basically.
Yeah,
You know.
I Destiny plays really good, but
Mm-hmm.
like, which also speaking of Destiny, I'm like almost positive they're doing something to the server blades because it's just the frames look faster and faster. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on with
Yeah.
that. Um, but yeah, it Division 2 still like wins the day.
Yeah.
Like regardless. But then again, Kakarot, bro, because you can even increase the internal resolution
You're
on
gonna make me want
Kakarot.
to pick that up. I'm gonna
You
pick that
have
up.
to. I don't know why you haven't yet.
Yeah. I got to pick that
Because
up. You're absolutely right.
it has settings to increase the internal resolution and everything. Like, bro, if I wasn't broke, I'd buy the game for you. Cause like it's a good game and
No,
it looks
I owe you
gorgeous.
a game. What the hell are you? Matter of fact, yeah, we'll talk. You can get a Christmas present. I just need some information. No, you're getting the game. Under no way, shape, or form. Let me tell you about this man right here. I know that a lot of times on social media, you're like, "Oh, that damn Pete, he rattled me on social media." This is one of the greatest guys that you will meet, most sincere and most helpful, and he works his butt off personally, comes on the show, works his butt off, and I've worked him like a slave on the damn Discord with no problem. Like, this guy has to get a game from me. He's not allowed to buy me jack squat for like the next 5 years. So I mean, give
You're
a round
making
of
me feel all
applause. Let's give a
fuzzy
round of
inside.
applause for Pete. Let's do some drink champ stuff. Round of applause for Pete. I'm telling you, my brother works hard, and I love hard workers. You know what I mean? What's that?
You're
Ray,
making
somebody
me feel
said
all fuzzy inside.
Backlips says exactly ray tracing as well. Yeah, I can't wait to see the future enhancements
Bro,
of the platform. Definitely.
don't give me that mess with ray tracing, okay? Because I play Need for Speed Heat
Uh,
and I be looking at the reflections all the time and my computer can't even handle ray tracing.
yeah,
So
it's not ready yet. Like,
it ain't ready. I mean,
it ain't ready
it's
yet.
really nice, don't get me wrong,
Yeah, don't get me. Yeah,
but like
but the sacrifice you got
it
to
ain't
make.
ready.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and look,
bro, you're killing your hardware for it.
dude, and you look at things like okay. Here's my thing. As great as ray tracing is as a tool, I look at games like Division on Stadia, who was playing trickery with us. I remember one time we were playing and we were like, "Oh, that Chronos, that Vulcan ray tracing must be out." We're like, we swore to that. That's how good it looked. But no, they just did some programming and did some things or whatever they did that made the reflections and stuff look that damn great and dynamic, right? I'd rather
Right.
have that. I'm happy with that, opposed to activating ray tracing and losing like 15 to 25 frames. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I
nah,
was
it's
like,
not ready
I'm
yet.
not trying to is I'm honestly not even really staring at like when you're playing, it's like you're not gonna be sitting there staring
Yep.
at the reflections. I was like, if you're in the middle of a firefight or a boss fight or anything like that, are you really gonna be sitting there staring at a puddle and being like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I can see
Thank
the
you.
sky from here."
Yeah.
So I personally just ray tracing's not ready, not yet.
Yeah.
Now with Unreal Engine 5, when
Mm-hmm.
that becomes mainstream,
Yeah.
then it might be
Yeah.
ready
Then we
because
talking.
I'm kinda jealous that I don't have a next gen console to play the Unreal experience
Oh
on
yeah.
because
Oh, I got that, Bucko.
man,
I
man,
played that
that was
last
like
night, Bucko. Yeah, I mean, no, I played that last week. Yeah, a couple
that
days
was
ago.
probably the only reason I would ever touch one because, man,
Mm.
that looks gorgeous. Bro, so I showed my girlfriend, I showed her the Unreal experience, and
Yep.
she's like, "Is this a movie?" I was like, "Nope." She's like, "Really?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Yep." I was
Yep.
like, "Not a movie, it's a video game." She's like, "What?"
It's
So
amazing you
I was
said
like,
that.
"Yeah." I was like, That's amazing.
It's amazing
That
you
is
said that because my
amazing."
wife walked in too and said, "Oh," she said, "What part of the Matrix is this?" I said, "No, baby. This is the
It
video game."
Yeah,
She
this
said,
is it's what?
"Yep, yeah, yep." And she just walked out of the room. She said, I'm so sick of how these video games are looking so real. I'll never see you again." Meaning that I'll
Yeah.
never come out of here. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was like, video games, bro. I can't wait. UE5, like, I don't really
hmm
like Epic. I'm not really a
yeah,
huge Epic
yeah.
fanboy, but like, bro,
But you
they
gotta give
are
them credit. You gotta give
killing
credit
it
where
with
credit is
Unreal
due.
Engine.
Yeah,
I will give credit where credit is due because Unreal Engine 5 is killing it. Like I'm like so like in love with that it's ridiculous that it looks that good. And like
hmm
and you know what? I swear to God I didn't see like barely any kind of like frame drop or anything and there's all kinds of crap happening. So I'm just like, dude, I was like just wait until developers get it, man. I
yep.
can't just wait until it becomes mainstream. I swear I'm gonna beef my PC up so I could play that, and I'm gonna be sitting there looking like I'm watching a movie. I can't wait. I'm so
Yeah,
excited. Once
yo,
I like
it's
actually settle down and have like my own little like just space, dude. Oh, I can't
and the
wait.
great thing about UE5 is that, see, we often have this conversation, not me and Pete, but me and Pete are on the same page in regards to this. But I often have this conversation with people in the community, and they'll say, you know what, Stadia got to upgrade those server blades so the games can look better. And I'm like, it's not that simple. Like, Stadia is a sole platform, and upgrading the server blades would be like, I have two computers here, right? One has a 1070 in it with an i5 in it. It could run things at medium settings, no problem. But I have a 3070 computer here with an i9 in it, right? So if I were to take Far Cry 6 and put it on medium settings at both computers, it's pretty much going to look the same, except for my 3070 computer, you know what I'm saying? Like, not including ray tracing, of course, but my 3070 computer is gonna get some faster frames. You know, it's gonna have some slight what's it called, but I'm not utilizing the power of the 3070 because I just got to set it medium settings, right? Which is gonna give me the same difference out of my 1070 machine. How and that kind of correlates to what's going on with Stadia. We already know, not just with Division 2, not just with Doom, but with Capcom's Resident Evil 8, a game that came out this year, Hitman, and so forth. We already know that AAA games can look and play great on the platform. But if you're not going to put in the effort, it's not going to happen. So it doesn't matter if Stadia's max is medium settings or max is high settings. If all these programmers want to do is program to medium settings and say, okay, this is a 1% business, this is all you get out of us, it's going to be even worse because people are going to say, hold on, this is Stadia 2.0, this is trash. They're going to think it's Stadia's fault. So, we got to get better effort out of the devs. You know what I mean? So I hope people understand that. But the platform within itself is well more than capable, and we've seen that on numerous occasions. I do want to see the platform get stronger, but I want to see the effort grow chronological with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see them upgrade to, like I said, the 3070 power, but you're only programming to medium specs. That's not what we want. You know what I mean? So something that we gotta. And Winstar is 1,000% right. He said we saw it on Arc. And
Oh yeah.
the good brother Jim Beer Gaming, shout out to Jim. He showed us that. Like, that argument is done to me. It's just a matter of we're early on in this platform, and there's a lot of great things that come with it. Unfortunately, all developers and publishers don't see it that way, and it's kind of like a waiting game for some of us on some aspects to see when they'll come around, and they're starting to come around. We're seeing it, and Stadia's doing things to the best of their ability with the new incentive plans, the better development tools, and they're getting help from ABC, the parent company. So it's just a matter of just letting it go through its progressions. Let me see what else we got here on the docket. All right, so we talked about the we talked about the mobile direct mobile thing. We talked about Splinter Cell. Let's talk about these games, man. We got like a lot of great news about games, and then we got some maybe not so good news about one particular game. But let's talk about the great games front. So, from what I see, Pete, here's several games that have come out in just the last few weeks alone. Super Animal Royale, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, Monopoly Madness, 9 to 5, Chorus, Wreckfest, Hunting Simulator 2. Are there any other games that you can think of significance that I may have forgot?
Well, I actually have my my freaking Stadia menu up right now.
Oh, okay.
Um, Nothing that's of true significance, but I also know that games are just coming and coming and coming
Yep,
and coming.
exactly.
And bro, so I looked at my my thing, so I cancel Ubisoft Plus at least for now.
Okay.
Um, and I still have 153 games in my
Yeah.
library.
Yep.
Still, that's without Ubisoft Plus. That's just stuff that I've bought in Pro, and I've clearly bought quite a few games because they don't have the Pro labeling on them. Um, but yeah, dude, it's that I think were the biggest games of significance, at least for right now. Um, Really, I think things are gonna be pretty chill until like mid 2022, early 2023. And you
Mhm.
also have to remember, and this irritates me because I had to get on someone and then I blocked them after. They made a comment about Stadia is going to be dead by 2023, and I'm like, hello. I was like, Avatar is coming in late 2023. So I'm not sure how that correlates. It's going to be dead by 2023, and you have a game coming for in late 2023.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, out of those are some pretty fairly good games. That have hit the platform now. Super Animal Royale in particular, as much as it looks like a cartoon game, or a children's game, and people might think it's popular, they also did just hit 5 million concurrent players. That's not a small number by any
Yeah.
means, and it's cross-platform. So out of everything that's come out, I think that's a pretty big hit, and it's free to play. How
Yeah.
can you hate that?
I know. You can't. You can't.
Speaking of that, I have to play that. I still haven't touched it. I need to play it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean, in the games that I just named, the only one I touch is Chorus.
Bro, I tried Chorus
Yeah.
on Luna,
Hmm.
and I was like, all right. I just haven't bought it.
Yeah. Well, and this may have been something on my end after the move. Maybe I bumped a configuration or something, or I hope my screen wasn't damaged. But for some reason, when I hooked up here, my games look kind of ashy. And I think I fixed it. It might have just been some weird configuration quirk because I noticed it when I was watching the Game Awards. And I got a live reaction to the Game Awards, by the way. So if you're a member, I'm going to put it out there. I was just afraid to put it out there originally because the Game Awards is known for getting channels shut down and them taking
You're
forever and a
you're
day
an
to say,
official
oh,
co-host, man.
yeah, like they've done it to me. Like they've done it to the MM2K channel. I remember a couple years ago, I was, doing a simulcast of it, and my channel was shut down for 4 months. So I'm like, I don't want to have the same thing happen there. I mean, we do have StadiaDosage Plus over at Twitch, but we get it. Twitch is a completely different tool, and everybody may not be happy about it. With that being said, I think it's safe to put it up now. The Game Awards, I think they've ironed out everything and worked everything out with YouTube, and
It
versus
was
the
because of the
algorithm.
Matrix, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
The Matrix is what got
Is the one that got a
everybody
lot. Yeah,
copyright
and you know
strike.
what I did do I was wise enough per experience to when that came up, I would switch to like when things definitely during the concerts when they were playing music and things like that. I definitely like switched and just talked. It was like, up, can't play this. Matrix is on right
Yep.
now. Sorry.
I was like,
But
nope. I was like about to get a copyright strike. You couldn't have
exactly,
video
yeah,
at all.
dude. Yeah. like crazy. So I'm gonna put it back up. I'm gonna put it up in general soon for you guys to see. But yeah, I haven't played any of those games except for Chorus, and I think I tweaked because when I was playing Chorus, you can hear me if you guys are members, and I put the my first look. I wasn't that impressed. I got to be honest. I wasn't that impressed with the 60 frames per second mode, so I was at the 4K mode. And the 4K mode was cool, but I still thought it was like a little ashy. But I think it was, again, my configuration. So I think I got to fix it. I'm going to try that again. But the rest of these, I definitely got to play. Did you say, now, we both mentioned how this is killing our backlog. Or you could just suggest how this is killing our backlog. But out of the bunch that you did get a chance to play, which one was your favorite, Pete?
I'm biased, and I'm just an Assassin's Creed fan. So
I can do it.
I'm just saying I've been playing. Personally, my favorite has been Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered.
I can dig it. Yep. But I will say that I haven't played much, so it's hard for me to say which one is my favorite. But I got a feeling that the biggest one out of this, first I was going to say Wreckfest, because the Stadia community seems to love their racing games. And then I thought about it like Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. Is that 60 frames per second, by the way, or no?
Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, the remaster.
In performance mode, yes.
Oh, they
I
got a
want to
performance.
say,
Oh, okay, cool,
yeah,
cool.
they have
Okay, great.
performance and I mean, honestly, the quality mode looks kind of bad, so I wouldn't. But maybe
Okay,
that's probably just because I'm playing on my PC and browser just still needs work.
yeah.
Um, but no, I'm pretty sure it's 60 FPS in performance mode, I think. I don't know. I don't really measure any of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's 60 FPS in performance mode.
Now, I will say this: for those that are having browser issues, I've noticed something over the last couple of days that people were saying, you know what? Don't use Chrome. Use Edge.
I don't use Chrome. I use Edge. I've been
You use
using Edge
Okay.
for
Okay.
months now.
Okay.
And I mean, Edge supports, because Edge is
Yeah.
based off Chromium, Edge
Yep.
supports extensions. So
Yeah,
all you have to
yeah.
do is enable it, and then you can bring your
Port
extensions
them
over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, when I used Edge, now I heard that it was a Windows Central article, ironically, and they were talking about playing Stadia, which I was like, this is going to be interesting. I always love the Windows Central articles about Stadia, and this one wasn't too bad. And they were like, and they weren't too bad on Stadia, because what they were trying to do was they were trying to stick it to Google somehow, and they were trying to make it, and how they were sticking it to Google was, Edge is the better browser. You know what I mean? Which, you can make that argument. I think you could feasibly make that argument.
Well, yeah, that's what people were doing, but they're all like, how is Edge better than, for example, Chrome?
Mm-hmm.
And which is Google. I was like, but Chrome is just known to be a CPU eating monster.
Yeah.
Why it's like that, I don't know, but
So bloated.
I
Yeah.
seriously never use Chrome unless for like whatever reason if one of my apps just don't support Edge, which is cool. I was like, okay, fine, I'll use Chrome, but I try to avoid Chrome like the plague, dude. I can't stand Chrome. And if it came between Chrome and Edge, Edge definitely takes a win. It's just so much cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
I use Edge is my default browser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I still use Chrome only because I use Chrome Canary, and Chrome Canary, it's like hit or miss. When Chrome Canary is working, I don't think there's anything better. But when it starts going on the fritz, you can forget it.
Oh yeah, when it starts acting up, goodbye.
Yeah, you can forget it. So it's like hit or miss. It's all about your tolerance and your patience. But a lot of people are saying now. What I noticed was when I use Edge, I got better performance and button response, but there was a slight degradation of the visuals. But people
Oh
are
yeah.
saying now, no, it looks just as good and it's responding better
No,
and
it
faster.
it looks better and better and better, and I'm
Mm,
just like,
I gotta try that out.
Like I even told Gamer TV on Twitter,
Hmm.
he's like, is Edge good? I was like, dude, I've been using Edge for months. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've told you this before. I was like, Edge is actually like
Yep.
really good. The latency is good, and so is the graphical fidelity. I was like, Edge is great.
And it was actually that conversation that I saw that inspired my thoughts on that. Yeah. Dustin Aran says, has anyone tried Opera GX for Stadia? I haven't tried it. I haven't
I
used
have
Opera in
not.
years.
I know I haven't used Opera. I don't think I've used Opera since I'm 28 now. I don't think I've used Opera since I was like 17.
Hmm.
To be honest with you, I haven't touched Opera in a very long time.
I don't
But from what
mind.
I hear,
Go ahead. Go ahead. What you gonna say?
oh, no, you're sorry. I know from what I hear, there are a few people that know that use Opera, and they say it works pretty well.
Yeah. I I don't mind tinkering with like tablets and phones and things like that. I don't like tinkering with my Windows programs. Like if I got Linux running on something, all right, cool. But my because I hate to say it, Windows is so itty, itty-ish that when I try to, if I put something like that on there and it throws my registry off or whatever, I get very angry. So yeah, I would have to. It would have to be on a laptop or something, which I don't have anymore. A laptop where I'm just like tinkering with things. But yeah, I very seldomly tinker with new programs unless I, I've been reassured by someone that I trust that it works well. So yeah, I haven't used Opera GX right for Stadia.
I am
Um,
currently downloading it just to
oh,
test it
hey, good luck.
myself.
You let me know. You let me
Yeah.
you let me
While
know,
while we're
brother.
going, while we're going, I'm gonna test this out.
Yeah. Yep. So with that said, um, what else we got here on the docket here? And the last question I have for you, while you're looking that up, Pete, is many people fear Stadia is losing cooperation from devs. But we got a lot of games in the last 2 weeks. I mean, what does this say to that? And I forgot about what was it, that Fire game that's coming, and I forgot about World War Z that's coming. I mean, what does this say to you about Stadia losing cooperation from devs?
Bro, I don't pay any attention to that because they've never shown me any kind of proof with that. They just say, trust my sources. Bro, what sources? What
Yeah.
sources do you have that say,
Hmm.
hey, they're losing support because maybe 2K drops support? I don't care about 2K. The fact that games are still coming shows the exact opposite, that support's being dropped.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even on Twitter, I I don't even save the tweets, bro. So I really can't even remember where I see them. I just scroll. That's really bad. But when I scroll, I'm starting to see all of these indie devs or just even other devs just start talking about Stadia, or game publications talking about Stadia. So like you might say that it's dropping support just because certain games or certain sequels just haven't arrived yet, but I'm like, I don't think you understand just this entire process of it. And
Yeah,
I
they
don't
don't.
think
Yeah.
that's true that anyone's dropping support.
No. You may have support shifted to where uh, a developer or publisher may have put the Stadia version on a lower priority. I mean, if we're being honest, I mean, those situations likely have occurred, but that's not because Stadia said, okay, well, just put us on a lower priority. They wouldn't be doing that. They wouldn't have said that if ABC company says, hold on, we recognize that we got to do more. Here goes more. Make it happen. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense. They realize that, hey, maybe in some instances, because of COVID, because of complications that they're having, maybe some publishers are pulling away as far as prioritizing our platform. But we need to get that reeled back in. Here goes some more cash. Figure out why. Yeah, figure out why they're pulling away, and they figured out why, which was the dev tools. They said, and one thing I will look. I hate doing this because it makes it seem like that I'm targeting people. But I just want to give you a period behind my thought process. Because a lot of people think that I've done this just starting with Stadia. I haven't. But Jez Gordon speaking of Windows Central, Jez Gordon of Windows Central, we've had a couple of run-ins and we haven't agreed on a lot of stuff.
Oh, he blocked me a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, I mean
that's because I went for him.
Yeah, like a lot of times Jez says things that he hopes, and that's symptomatic. And that's just not symptomatic here. That's symptomatic with the bigger platforms, even with people with experience and the blue check marks. Sometimes even those people say what they hope to happen and they craft their words in a certain way and it doesn't happen that way. And they just say, oh, well, I bloviated on that and I was wrong, but who cares, move on. But by that time you've damaged people's hopes and aspirations. So you got to be careful with your words as far as the things that you project in those situations. So a lot of times, I feel he may do that. I don't think he means harm, but he's people's emotions get riled up and they hope for things to happen. And they want you to be in a celebratory mode with them. So they'll tell you this thing and they know that their authoritative presence will make you believe it as well. And then it ends up not being true in the name. Oh, okay. Well, what's the next thing? But one thing that I will say that Jazz was spot on about, and I've hinted to a while ago, is that people, he said this a while ago, that people were complaining early on about the development process for Stadia.
Oh, 100%. And they even brought that up during GDC where they were like, hey, we know that it's a complicated process and we're willing to admit that, which is why we're reworking that. And people are now asking, hey, where's this at? I was like, do you not see this happening? I was like, games are starting to hit faster and faster. So I can believe that people were complaining about the development process because it was probably really horrible, and that's evident just by games taking absolutely forever to come.
And people were, I mean, you had people that even who criticized Stadia. They said, yeah, it was new and it was challenging. They said, but it's no different from dealing with any other new platform. It wasn't more egregious. It's not like that Stadia, if you rank the 10 worst platforms to develop for, Stadia would be number one. It's not like that. It's just that, dealing with COVID, dealing with getting ready for new platforms. Here you got this other platform, and it was cumbersome. It was cumbersome just adding a new platform in general to the fray. And he was right about that. So you don't have that recognition that maybe developers pull back, because things are getting more challenging with the new generation and COVID. You don't have that recognition that that's a problem. That's something we got to reel back in by you throwing more money at it if you don't care. You know what I'm saying? If you don't care, if you don't want the platform to grow. Those can't occupy the same space at the same time. I want to answer my good friend Ron Slusher in the chat. He says 2K already said they don't like supporting any cloud service because they make more money through retail. Well, actually, what they said, Ron, is they don't support cloud services. So what they mean by that is I pay $9.99 and I get access to an array of 2K games. They're kind of like PlayStation on that front. They feel like that their product is valuable enough a la carte, so they don't want to put it in a subscription service. And they feel like that's detrimental to their business model and whatever. They have numbers that I don't have access to, whatever. That being said, Stadia is a retail, they do have a retail option. It's just DRM retail. You know what I mean? Like everything, you don't need Stadia Pro to buy a 2K game. So you would approach
100%.
a 2K game just like you would on Stadia, just like you would approach it on PlayStation and Xbox. And that's why, if they come anywhere at the moment, they're coming to day and date. If they come anywhere, they're coming to Stadia. They're not going to come to xCloud day and date for the most part. Not with their new fresh titles of remake. We saw that with the GTA 3, something like that. They'll toy around with, see how it goes. But you're not going to see an NBA 2K at this moment come day and date to a Game Pass. You're not going to see it come day and date to a GFN because those are services to where 2K wants that a la carte money. You know what I mean? That a la carte money is special. It's the same reason why we've been preaching this on this platform. It's the same reason why, Pete, that you see Amazon Luna have New World, the game that their development wing developed from Amazon. It's not on Luna, but it's on another service. Why is it on another service? Because in order for you to play it on that other service, you can't just drop the $9.99 or pay the $200 a year. You got to do that, and you have to go buy the game. You know what I mean? And Amazon Development Studios, they want their $39.99 for each copy of New World. That's just the way that it is. They want their revenue per pop. So, but interesting
100%, because it doesn't make sense to put your flagship game on a subscription service, let alone probably put it on the $5 tier, which is great, by the way. But why do that when you could charge $40 and make a lot more money doing so? Also, just to side thing, check out I just sent you a picture of
where'd you send it? You put
it Discord.
Discord? Okay, let me check, brother. Let me check, brother.
It's actually
hold on.
Wow.
Uh-oh. Which you sent it through.
Oh, just DM'd it to you,
DM me. Okay, let me check this out. Oh, holy what is this?
Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered Opera GX using the Stadia Enhanced extension.
I wish I could show y'all this. This looks very cool. Maybe I can. No, because I think for my...
you could just save the picture and then post it later if you really needed to.
I got you. Here. Let me show you something. Let me see if I can make that bigger. Let me make that bigger for the people in the back. That's cool. So just I had to upscale it and, but that looks like good quality. I think that's good quality. Yeah, man. And there's a performance. Now, which picture of that? Was that the performance mode?
Yeah, this is on performance mode.
Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna give it a shot. Yeah, I got.
Yeah, and this is on the Opera browser.
Oh, that's on. That's what you're. Okay, cool. So, Postmaster, Pete just put it up for you. Opera browser version of Assassin's Creed. How is it to you?
Bro, I think. I'm just messing around with it, and I'm using the Stadia Enhance extension with the sharpen on, but it looks like pretty good. I'm playing in the browser, so there's that little fuzzy, but dude, holy crap, it's actually pretty good.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, Dust, you put us on to a new one. I might have to check that out. I'm gonna wait to see if my brother Pete's PC crashes and burns and melts to the ground. If it doesn't,
it ain't yet.
If it doesn't, I'll install it. I just get real finicky about that. We got somebody in the chat that needs to bring their caboose in here. The people would love to hear from him. Our good friend Clive Linden. He says, Take-Two do see value in cloud when it comes to their back catalog. Another place to rinse money from old games. No issue with that. That is great. And that is from Clive E. Linden, my spiritual advisor, all things Stadia. But yeah, that's cool, man. I like that. Dustin says Opera GX is a gaming browser. Oh, okay, I got you. So he said it's specifically made for gaming. How would you, Pete, real quick? How would you rate that versus Edge?
I don't know.
Okay.
I cannot tell you right now.
Okay.
I have to do more extensive testing.
Yeah. That's
Because I've been
interesting.
using Edge for quite a while, but
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, and you know what? That's not even at 1440. That's at 1080p. Sharpens on. Yeah. Wow.
So Opera
Much better.
GX, I'm gonna assume. I know this is gonna be a stupid question, but it's Chrome based, right?
No, I don't think so because to be able to download it has an extension store, but
Mm-hmm.
to be able to do that, I had to download a Chrome extension and then go to the Chrome web store to
Okay.
download the
Okay.
extension itself. So the extensions work, but you have to have a Chrome extension to be able to go to the web store to add it to Opera in the first place.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. But I
Awesome
mean,
stuff.
it's kind of cool. I mean, I'm liking like these little themes and you can customize it. You can control how much CPU it's
Oh
using.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
All
didn't
right.
know that, but like, yeah, it's actually wow. Yeah, you could control how much GPU it's used or CPU it's Opera's using. You can control you can see what's using up like the most CPU, the most RAM on the browser. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that out now. I might try it on my laptop. I was gonna let
Oh
my
my
son.
god.
Uh
It has built-in Spotify and Tidal and everything else.
oh. Ooh. Um.
Bro, shout out for the hookup. This is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Shout out to the postmaster. Postmaster's always on it. Shout out to Dustin and Rand, the postmaster, for that one. I was a little leery. Not that I don't trust you, Dustin. I know you got the goods, but I'm a little leery. I'm a little sensitive about my Windows platforms and my Windows devices before I put stuff on them. We got two great comments as well. Clive Lennon said, "I've you He said, I played Stadia and Opera GX, pretty good. Useful quick tabs to things like Twitter or Discord, etc." And then we got Jeremy Moan. He says, I think it uses the Chromium engine in the back of Opera, baby. Okay, interesting. We'll see. So many use Chromium engine these days, I can't remember which is which. Interesting stuff. All right. Well, with that said, I think one last thing I wanted to talk about as we're talking about games before we close out with the statistics real quick. Threada. And shout out to Bryant Chappelle with this one, but Threada had an update, and Bryant Chappelle of the Nerf Report was able to provide it. He says, I spoke with the developer behind the Threada game a couple days ago, and they mentioned it's very likely the game will be delayed into 2022. The team is still hard at work, but the COVID situation in Sri Lanka has been rough, Stadia. And so that's interesting. Were you looking? Were you heavily looking forward to trying this one or playing this one, Pete?
Threada, I honestly can say that I haven't really been keeping an eye on it.
Okay.
So I don't really mind, but like
Mm-hmm.
I it kind of does suck that they're going to be delaying games, but I'm all for delays if the game
Yeah.
doesn't come out broken.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I got to be honest. I got to make a confession. Prior to Stadia has like leveled me so much as a gamer, even at my old age. I didn't have an appreciation for the indie games like I do now. And Stadia has put me at a point to where I said, oh no, the game has to be day and date on Stadia or else. But now because the way that I play the game, this is gonna sound weird. I know people are gonna clip this and turn this into something. The way that I play the
Alright.
game now has actually become more important than what I'm playing. If that makes sense. Like, what I mean by that is, if I gotta play a game a certain way with downloads and I gotta flip this lever and flip that lever and do all this crazy stuff, it doesn't matter how good the game is at its core. I don't even want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. Like, it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of like driving a car. If you're people that are used to driving a stick shift, they don't want to drive. A lot of them don't want to drive automatic anymore. You know what I mean? So they're like, nah, I don't care how clean the car is, how good it looks. If it's automatic, I don't even want to deal with it. I just can't deal with it. It's just me. And that's where I'm at. So, I at some point in time, I stopped saying, oh, this game has to be on Stadia day and date. No, I want it to be on Stadia when it's complete, when it's ready, and it plays smooth. And if they need time to do that, which you got to understand too, with this team that's making this game, I think this is their first game. They're trying to put it on multiple platforms. Thank goodness they're going to support Stadia as well. They're going to put precedent on the other platforms first because that's what's going to keep the lights on. And then they're going to, it's probably still going to release on Stadia simultaneously, but we want developers to get recognized for their work. And what I don't want is for somebody to say, okay, well, just to shut these Stadia people up, let's put the game at 80, 70% optimization out on the platform day and date with the other platforms. No, I'd rather it be a good port, a port that utilizes the best of the platform, and it'd be one that we enjoy. We get the best bang out of our buck. I don't want another Outrider situation. So that was my long-winded way, Pete, of saying that I agree with you. Any other thoughts on Threada possibly being delayed? And good shout out to Brian Chappelle for doing the investigative work on that. But any other thoughts on Threada or any of the other games we just talked about?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
All right. Well, last but certainly not least, let's talk about statistics. Let's talk about the statistics. I want to show off. Where's my, okay. Clive is going to be disappointed in me because I can't find. There we go. Number 4, great stats. Shout out to the homie Jack DeSlip, also a contributor to PNTS Network. He sends out a barrage of statistics, I believe, every Sunday now. He's doing some cool stuff with these stats. And he says, still some more Stadia stats to share this Sunday. A comparison of the scaled growth curves for 7 different Stadia metrics. A lot of correlation. Note the positive inflection in the curves near the right since November 2021. So the things that he's tracking are Stadia members on Reddit, the Twitter followers, the Discord members, reviews on the App Store, reviews at Google Play, Facebook likes, and Stadia Instagram followers. And as you can see, that there's been this inflection since around November. If you look at the chart, there's another. Oh, I wish I would have had the other tweet that he has. But there's so many metrics that he's been tracking that has shown that the platform has been so successful since the 2-year anniversary. So my question to you, Pete, is this. Now, many people said that Stadia was in trouble. Again, to piggyback off of what we were talking about last segment, no new AAA games to close out the year. That in culmination with GFN's 3080 tier releasing, Stadia's in trouble. However, these stats show otherwise. What happened? What happened between those expectations and reality? Why is reality different from all that noise?
That's a hard one to explain. People just, it all goes back to expectations. They keep setting up themselves for disappointment, and when reality hits, it's like all doom and gloom, and it's like you're more pissed off at yourself than you are Stadia. Like, I don't get that. And I keep telling them, I was like, y'all, if you don't have expectations to begin with, you'll be so much happier. Everything's like sunshine and rainbows.
I agree with that. You know what? I mean, I think, and a lot of people don't want to hear this, They want what they want, and they want it now. Like the I forgot the name of that JG Wentworth. I want it now. Stadia is an emerging platform. It doesn't have everything now. So, and it's not going to get everything day one now. I think if you're a gamer that has to have everything, but has to have everything through a singular platform, I think you're setting yourself up for disappointment here. You know what I mean? Um, it's an emerging platform. So it's going to see growth, it's going to see improvements, but it's not going to see the growth or the improvement of an Xbox Series X or a PlayStation at the moment because it's not at that level. The execs have said that. Um, but to think just because you have that need that I gotta have everything through a singular platform, that I think we get a little selfish, and because we have that need, we just automatically equate failure. You didn't make me happy, so you're gonna fail. That's not the case. This product just long term. Well, I don't want to say long term, but just this product stretched out over the early years just may not be for you if you have to have a singular platform that you can get everything, you can play everything on. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen right now. But they are seeing sustained growth within their business sector. Gaming has doubled. Cloud gaming has doubled from a projection of like 7 billion in 2027 to 13.5 billion in 2026. That's amazing. And that's they've gone from a CAGR of 56%, I believe it was, to that's close to almost 90%, if not over 90%. Um, you just have growth with cloud gaming altogether. And you can't look at that growth, Pete, and say Stadia has nothing to do with it. We don't know what sector of Game Pass people have Game Pass primarily for xCloud, or where xCloud was a driving factor. We don't know that. There's no way to tell that from any data that we have. GFN. GFN is a subscription model. And yes, even though they have a lot of users, different analysts have told you that the majority of their users don't pay anything. They're using the free tier. Luna. As cool as Luna is in the startup and as it's growing, it's limited to the US, so we know its user base is limited. Shadow, we can kind of say the same thing. They've seen some ups and downs. You cannot say that growth exists and Stadia doesn't have anything significant to do with it. They might have the most significant portion because again, they have so many financial ways to interact with the product. And every time we talk about cloud gaming, we're talking about what? Stadia. And if you look at engagement, more statistics from Jack, it's all about Stadia. So that's my take on it. Like, Stadia's fine within its business sector, but if you're a gamer that's looking for that one-shot bang and you want everything, you might be a little prematurely over here just yet. You know what I mean? Stadia is a great, if you're a gamer that wants to play everything, Stadia is a great complement to other choices. You know what I mean? So,
well, yeah,
go ahead.
That's what I'm. Sorry. That's what I'm saying though, dude. Like, people act as if only one platform exists, and you're going to kill yourself off like that, dude. And you're just gonna get pissed off when it doesn't get what you want. Like, I get that there's people that just can't afford it, like anything else. Okay, cool. But like me personally, believe it or not, yes, I do play other things besides Stadia. I have my PC. I have Game Pass. I have EA Play. I have Stadia. I have Stadia Pro. I that blows my mind, dude, that people think they just have to focus on one platform, and then that's how you become what's called a fanboy, because
Yeah.
you don't you don't need to focus on just one platform. Games are for everyone, and you should be able to play all of the games. As much as I talk about Stadia, I do honestly play more than just Stadia,
Hmm.
truly. Um, like I said, I decided against One Piece, and oh my god, it's an 84.5 gigabyte download.
Hmm.
But Zero Fox on Twitter, I've been following him for a minute. And I had been avoiding Fallout 76 for like the longest time. Um, and he's like, dude, it's gotten so much better. So he's convinced me, and I didn't realize it was on Game Pass. So that's being installed right now. Even though it's like an agonizing wait and it's only at 20%, kill me now. But it's nice to have that option. And I was like, I can't really afford to like buy it right now.
Hmm.
So I was like, it's on Game Pass. Damn, let me just since I have Game Pass, let me just install it now. So it's nice honestly having options.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think my, as we begin to close out, I'm gonna show one more statistical thing. We're gonna get to our fireside conversation where, again, spread the word, let people know we're gonna have a serious conversation about the community. Um, but we, um, me and Peter are in the same boat. I never got this platform expecting it to be my one and only. You know, like, and I can pull out the tweets. I've done them before. Like I ain't got to lie. I ain't got to lie about video games. It's not that serious. I can pull out the tweets before where I've always had like a trio lineup. Like here's gonna be the game systems that I go into. You know, and Stadia went from not being on there at first to being number 3 to being number 2 and then being number 1. You know what I'm saying? And my lineup of gameplay is Stadia, PC, then PlayStation 5. You know what I'm saying? And then the rest of cloud gaming falls in at 4, but the majority of my focus is on those 3. Um, like, I think that's why the blow, I don't want to say the blow, but that's why a lot of this anger and stuff that's exemplified by the community, I've never felt because it feels like my expectations, your expectations, Pete, were always in check. I never expected this to be a platform that was going to give me everything out of the gate. I knew that. I knew that. I don't know how. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. I don't know how those that have been following Stadia a lot more in depth than I was since it's been announced. There's people that's followed this in depth. I don't know how those people had that expectation of this platform, but they did nonetheless. I just think it's time that reality has to set in at some point in time. And when Jack Buser, when you see those words from Jack Buser, if you had those expectations, once you saw those words from Jack Buser, they should have went out the window. They should have said, okay, for my needs, this may have to be a complimentary service. You know what I'm saying? If you can find the all-in-shot gaming thing somewhere else, fine. But this has to, if you're one, again, that has to have everything that's being talked about at that moment, day and date, this is not a platform that is meant to be that right now. So,
Nope, they're taking it nice and slow, bro,
yeah,
getting
they
games
got to
where
build,
they
yeah.
can, and, like, I'm okay with that. Like I
Yep.
said, I have the options. So, like, I personally don't care. If something doesn't hit Stadia, okay, I have my PC. If I don't have space on my PC, okay, I have Game Pass, I have cloud gaming. I literally have options for days. Technically speaking, I'm pretty sure I don't even need to buy a game again, except Elden Ring. I don't care. That game will be mine when that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like you have the options. You don't have to stick with just one platform. And yeah, Stadia is not for hardcore gamers who have spent your entire life in these flashy areas with PC, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation. They've been around for forever now.
Yeah.
It's not for you guys. I grew up in that same area. And it's like I just personally love Stadia not because of anything but the tech. The tech is amazing and the tech has absolutely 100% got me spoiled to hell and back. It's amazing, and I talk to my roommate about it all the time, dude, and he's like,
Mhm.
"I don't care," and I still sit there and parade it around. He's like, "You're such a fanboy." I was like, "I don't care." I was like, "The tech is amazing, dude." I even told him about streaming from your the iPhone. I even made him
Yeah.
come over here to my computer, and I was like, "Hey," I was like, "Look at this." And he's like, "I don't think I could play an FPS on it." But then again, he's one of those people that sat there and played Overwatch for fucking
Yeah.
16 hours a
Yeah.
day at 144 FPS. So, like, he's that person who can't really, like, fathom if it's lower than 144, it bothers him. Playing at 60 bothers him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I parade showing off the tech whenever I get a chance. I be doing the same thing at work, bro. Anyone I know I haven't shown, I'm like, "Hey, look at this," or even my barber shop, I really wanted to show them, be like, "Hey, guys, would you believe me if I told you you could play all of these games on your phone right now?" And they probably like, "What?" Because when they're not they don't have customers, they're just sitting there on their phone. So
Yeah.
why not sit there and play a video game? So, you know what, maybe next time I just got a haircut, but maybe next time I go down there before I leave, I'll be like, "Hey, you guys wanna see something really cool?" Um, and so then too, all I do is spread the word, dude. I really don't care about the platform. I just enjoy Stadia the absolute most.
Yeah. It's more it's for me,
Hey, Bubbles.
the charm is not only what the platform can do, but you know, so many answers or so many things that it solves for me as a gamer. Like as a streamer, it makes streaming so synonymous. But here's the crazy thing about it. The streaming aspects is what really threw Stadia over the top for me. That's what really, like when I first started playing it, and I was like, hold on, I'm seeing all in the media that it doesn't work, but it works. Like, what is this all about? And then when we started Stadia Dosage, it was still around my number 3 way to play. And then when like games started coming out, I was like, oh, these are the games I like to play. Like when Borderlands came out, that sealed the deal for me. You know what I mean? Um, but I think it's the charm of what it solves for your gaming woes. Like it made streaming so easy for me. The 60 frames per second when it was a dominant thing for them AAA games, you know what I'm saying? Having that 60 frames per second mode was key. And so many other things. The portability of it, like the fact that my wife would call me down and I would have to go downstairs, and she wouldn't mind if I played a game, but I can't lug my PC downstairs. I couldn't lug my console downstairs, but I can swap Stadia now to the dongle in the living room. So it solves so many things. So I think that's the charm factor of it. And then the other pieces will eventually, like Jack Buser said, will come years later. So, all right. With that said, I just want to show this last little stat, Pete. Get your thoughts on it, and then we can wrap up and do the after show real quick. Let me show you something. Little article on a little known website called PNTS Network. Stadia retains NPD Litmus lead amongst peers without 2 big titles. So what this is, what we do every month, Pete, for those that don't know, and it gets the community, it gets their juices flowing so much, they get so excited about this, is that we said, look, we kept hearing the cries from many voices that I feel just didn't understand the gaming landscape in totality and who Stadia was trying to service. Again, they were looking at the fact that, hey, I'm a gamer that likes to play everything as soon as it comes out. This is going to be simply out of the box a new way to do that. I like Stadia, and that was wrong. You weren't going to be able to play everything that you want to play out of the box. was going to take time to get everything. And because if you're a gamer that likes to play everything, you're the most vocal. So I think we run into like a vocal minority type of thing where you hear a lot of people on Twitter, well, not even a lot as Clive illustrated, but you hear enough of the echo chamber out on Twitter say things like Stadia doesn't have games that its own demographic want to play. So we said, okay, we don't think that you understand the demographic, and we don't think that you realize that you may not be part of Stadia's target demo. Let's help show you who Stadia's target demo is. And it's clear as day to us because of the lineage and the reporting that we've done on gaming, but a lot of these people are new. We get it, maybe not so much to them. So we've compared Stadia's lineup to the NPD, where NPD charts North America retail habits, but those habits, particularly with consoles, are so synonymous to the success of a platform or a game globally that Phil Spencer, Yoshida, whoever's in Doug Bowser or Reggie Fils-Aimé, whatever platform or game gets put at the top of those charts, that's the only chart that they look at. Nothing against my UK people, but they don't come out when we're talking about the UK charts. They come out for NPD. That's how big NPD is. When Nintendo I think had 36 months of consecutive whatever, Doug Bowser did an interview and talked about that charting top at NPD. They don't do that for no other chart except for that. All right. So that's how important NPD is. And so we tracked and said, look, Stadia is trying to get the disenfranchised gamer from that crowd. The rest of that crowd don't have a problem finding platforms or buying games, but this small little group right now does, and they can help supplement the platform until it's ready to hit the big stage. So month to month, we do comparisons of every platform and see how many of these chart-topping multi-plat games they have. And Stadia continues to have a wide gap. Now, we thought for November, Pete, because of Battlefield wasn't there, and Guardians of the Galaxy, we knew would track for multiple months, wasn't there. We thought this gap would be smaller, and it wasn't. We discovered that the gap in some of the litmuses actually expanded. So let's go over it real quick. Current month, the charts, where they chart the top 20 games, all of those games that were multi-plats. Here's how many belonged in each platform's catalog. Stadia had 40% of the chart-topping multi-plats. GFN had 20, Luna had 20, and xCloud had 10%. Now, if you include Forza, which isn't a multi-plat, but it is an Xbox game, that jumps up to 20% for Xbox, but still a significant gap. Then you look at year-to-date, where they measure the top 10 games for the year as of that time. Stadia's at 60, where the rest is at 20. And then when you do a rolling calendar year, where you go from November 2020 to November 2021, Stadia's at 50%, and the rest are at 17. So my question to you before we close out is, we keep seeing this measurement at these wider gaps all the time. Even for a big month of November where Stadia didn't have the biggest games. What does this say to you about what Stadia's target demo is?
Can you still hear me? Sorry, I just switched to my phone, so I'm about to make some burgers.
Oh, no, you're good. I can hear you, brother.
Okay, so for me, this means that it's just proven that Stadia is still retaining the lead when it comes to multi-platform games. Now, you'll have the same people keep trying to reference that, for example, that exclusives matter and stuff like that. But I don't believe that. To be honest, I mean, exclusives matter when it comes to selling consoles, because you have to have a reason to choose one console over the other. I understand that. But when it comes to something like cloud gaming, exclusives don't matter, because cloud gaming is that accessible that when someone's like, "Oh, I have an Xbox," so for example, I have an Xbox, so I can play Halo, and I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." I was like, "I have a PC and I can play Halo on my phone because cloud exists, xCloud exists." Um, and right now, multi-platform is still what most of the gaming market consists of, no matter what anyone says. Like though, like I had got into it with someone where they were talking about Steam
Mm-hmm.
and how Stadia doesn't have any games or whatever because there's no exclusives. And I'm like, why does that matter? I was like, and they're all like, it's all shovelware. But I'm like, why? That's not
Mm-hmm.
true because Steam is almost entirely multi-platform.
Mm-hmm.
Almost the entire thing is almost multi-platform, and you're gonna tell me that you're telling me that Steam sucks
Mm-hmm.
because Steam is like no lie 90% multi-platform indie games or AAA games. And for Stadia to still have, even with it missing some games which sucks, to still have the lead that it does, dude, is crazy impressive. Um, and as people might try to say otherwise, you gotta walk the walk and talk the talk. And the only way to concretely prove that is by showing data. And that is exactly what the NPD is doing, is showing data saying, hey, Stadia has all of these multi-platform games and they're all consistently top charting, and that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's huge. And the fact that they're still holding a lead over everybody else is even better. You might not see it, but the numbers don't lie.
I in breaking news, day 2 of the Stadia Days of Stadia is out, and they're mentioning um Assassin's Creed 3 remastered. So just real quick, because I see that you commented on here too, Pete. This is kind of what I suspected to a degree, that they would be highlighting some things, whether it's the first time that it's happening or just this is sending awareness out to people that may not know. And I think that's what probably now it's starting to make sense. That's what they meant with the gifting, is sending out the notifications. They just use poor wording. Definitely poor wording, but um, yeah, they're gonna give you. It's raising awareness of great deals or great ways to interact with games over the next 12 days. That's what it seems like to me. You might get a surprise here and there, but don't expect anything big from that. So this is not a big hold on. You're gonna get Fortnite tomorrow. Don't expect that. What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
that, real
like
quick?
that's what I'm saying. It's like I saw that and I wasn't expecting anything. I'm like, oh, cool sales.
Yeah.
But then people have to remember that there are currently sales going on right now. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 12 days, dude. The sales that just came out aren't even 12 different sales. So
Yeah.
at some point, you're going to see something, and it's going to be a game that you've been begging to come on sale. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like people read into it too much, and they're
Mm-hmm.
saying, oh, it's just things we already knew about. Okay, so please tell me what the Game Awards was, because it's all things that we already knew about, but just new footage.
Yeah.
So, there was like barely anything that was actually new at the award show. So tell me what the difference is
Mm-hmm.
between that and things you already know about Stadia. It's not any different.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, guys, just manage your expectations, please. Don't
Mm-hmm.
go bashing and don't be listening to these people with 1 or 2 followers that don't ever tweet on
Yeah.
Twitter talking about this is your last chance
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
anything like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling
Sock
you,
account.
I need to start building cyber airports or something because people need to just fly away.
Yeah. So
Fly
that
away,
that
have a nice vacation.
that's what it looks like it's going to be. It's raising awareness to activity on Stadia, albeit activity that's already happening or new. The wording was bad. There's no doubt about that.
Oh,
The word
100%. The wording was absolutely horrible.
the wording was bad. Um, it seemed like that what they were trying to use Christmas wording, and it wasn't balanced out with the thought process of many within the community. Mistakes happen. As someone who has saved my company on many occasions. Well, we'll get into that in the after show. But I've saved my company on many occasions, and I've made mistakes too. But I've saved my company way more than I've made mistakes. I've made them way more money and made them way more profitable than they've ever compensated me on. You know what I mean? To date. And I'd be damned if, because I made a mistake, somebody comes to me and says, MM2K, yeah, you don't know your job. You're this, you're that. Like, hell no, you're not gonna. We're not even gonna. I'm not even gonna entertain it. You know what I mean? Even at a customer service level, I get to where, your average customer service person that's angry, that just wants their good or service that you're supposed to facilitate to them. They're gonna say a whole bunch of things, but the more seasoned individuals like us, you would we would probably be better served to be more seasoned in our responses. We could still, let our agitations be known, but not go over the top in our description of what's going on. So that's what this 12 days of Stadia seems to be like. For the most part, maybe ignore it. Ignore it until you see something that interests you. All right. Well, with that said, very interesting show. We're glad that you all stuck it out with us. We kind of gave you a little taste of it, but there's no holds barred. We're not going to be mentioning names, but we want to talk about the community occurrence over the last week or so. Like, what's going on and what can we do to do better? We're going to try our best to throw our thought process in a whole bit. So join us because this is going to be a in-depth conversation.
Oh,
yeah. Pete got some things to say. I got
some things to say. I'm not even going to name some names, but y'all know who you are because I saw a certain tweet talking about PlayStation tech is Stadia tech, and boy, I'm about to blast that open like a walnut.
So join us as we give our 2 cents on the matter. If you're a member, all you got to do, I pinned the link to the top of the tweet. To the top of the channel. Here goes the link again. Link to the after party. As soon as this link to after show, as soon as this ends, it's going to take you directly to that lobby if you're a member. If you're not a member, you can solve that right now. Hit that join button. Join at any level. We definitely appreciate your support, but we want everybody that we can to be part of these discussions. And these discussions are member exclusive. This is the promise that we make to those that support us even further. You know what I mean? So come and join the conversation, be part of it. Let us know your thoughts. But we're going to wrap up. So Pete, let the good people know where they can find you at, my friend.
Y'all already know you can find me on Twitter, getting blocked by people and blocking people.
Foremost on my mic fall off.
Man, I'm telling you, bro. I'm just been at it the past few days. But foremost_GG on Twitter. You can also find me on pntsnetwork.com. I will also be writing articles pretty soon. I really need to find time to settle down, dude. My schedule.
It's a rough period right now. I get it.
It is, man. I ain't got no rest since this all went down.
Yep.
But yeah, you guys can definitely find me there. Oh, MM. By the way, did we the Discord? Did we ever post that?
Yeah, we posted that, but we can post it again. If you want to join the new PNTS Discord, the new revamped PNTS Discord, I'm gonna put an invite code in there. Because pretty soon
Guys,
we're gonna be.
please join. It's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. The new PNTS Discord. Here goes the link to it. Join up. Join up. All right. And I am MM2K. You can find me here on Stadia Dosage as well as a contributor. And you can also find me on MM2K videos. Stay tuned for my Ubisoft crossplay videos. All right. And with that said, peace out. Have a wonderful gaming day. We'll see y'all in a few moments. I got to take a bathroom break, but we'll be over in the after party. Peace.
Peace.
All right. Let me head on over.